friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here once again, and we have another episode of the Writer's Thoughts. And now this one is very special. I have one of my longtime friends, someone I've been absolutely blessed to have met in real life. My good buddy Danfinity is in the building. How are you doing today, man? How's life? What is going on?
I am doing fairly well. I have coffee next to me. I'm in
Nice.
conversation with you via Discord.
Sick.
I mean, what could be better?
Exactly. That's
Am I
how I
right?
feel too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been absolutely fortunate to meet this man at GuardianCon. We shared some amazing hugs, almost unmatched. We had some chili together. We had some shenanigans. It was
I
all
made some chili that was not as hot as I had purported.
but it was delicious. And honestly, my wife has taken your recipe, adapted it,
Yeah. Shout
incorporated
out
a
to
little
chicken
bit.
fingers.
Oh my goodness, it's the recipe is like kind of move. It's like the game of telephone, moving throughout the community. Everyone's adding their own little spice to it, and it's been
Right.
perfected over time. So
Oh,
I'm definitely
you
digging
know what
it.
you know what I learned to do?
What is that?
Okay. So I experimented with adding coffee to it
Oh,
to bring out some bitter notes.
oh,
And so I added like a cup of coffee the last time and it was like too watery. But if you get instant coffee and put like a couple of spoons of that in, you're good.
nice. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'll talk to her. She's the cook. I am not, so I do only a little bit of the grilling and whatnot, but overall she does all the cooking. She is blessed in that
I got you.
department, and I am very spoiled. So there's there's a reason that she does the cooking. I don't. So
Yeah. So speaking of Guardian Con, when we met, there's a very specific story of you at Guardian Con that I've shared and that I've loved to share since. And that was Molly May and I were on the floor and we saw you you had the press pass, which was not different than the like exhibitor's pass, right?
Yeah. It said they didn't
So-
have a specific press pass, so it said something like special or
So it was like
VIP
special...
pass. Yeah, it was like a VIP pass.
Yeah. But every YouTuber and every Twitch like partner had one of those. And you're like interviewing people out of the floor. We saw you. We like came over to say hi, and we're talking. And this guy kind of idles up, and I see him out of the corner of my eye behind you, and he like sees that you have the pass, and he's like trying to like look at you and gauge if he knows your face.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is the best.
He walked up during our conversation with a notepad and goes, "Can you sign this?" And then signed it.
I signed it. I felt like such a big shot. Nobody knew who I was, obviously, at the time. And I'm signing this, and I'm trying to play it off like I know, like, yes, this is a normal occurrence. Happens to me all the time. I'm big time famous. But I'm signing, and I think that was the first time I'd ever met Molly, whether it's in person or even I didn't even really know her through like online even. And so she's just, the look of utter confusion on her face was probably the highlight of my whole experience.
The look of confusion on the kid's face as he walked away, he was like trying to figure out who you were.
Yeah, it's almost like he was thinking if he got my signature and he looked at it, he would know who I was. Like that was gonna solve all his problems. But it did not. And the whole situation was, I got so many strange looks that whole time. I had that pass, and or before the show started, I walked because I got in early because of that pass. I walked up to Dr. Lupo and I was just talking to him, right? And I think Keith probably thought the same thing, that he should know who I was, because there was like a group of people and I was just in there having a conversation. And he's just like looking at me, but he's the best. He made a video for my kids because they didn't want to come, and this was at peak Fortnite where they knew who he was and that he was a big deal, and so he made a video on my phone basically saying, you guys should have been here. You missed out, blah, blah, blah. And they lost their minds. It was one of the, he's one of the greatest people. I do appreciate him because he was talking to like everybody there. But
he's very like, he's very kind. He did like he did SideQuest Sunday when that was
yes,
still a
I
thing.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he did that episode like shortly before Guardian Con. And so when like we went to like some meetup, I think it was Mega, myself, and Polar Bear. And we went to his meetup that was at World of Beers in Tampa, Florida.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
And like Ninja's sitting over at a table just chatting with people. And I see Ben, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, I'm super shy around like meeting people that I don't know why I put that kind of importance on people, you know, but like I was that way with Ben, the same way that I was with Andrew Bird, the same way that I was with Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah.
It's a problem. That's why I choose not to meet anybody anymore.
Gotcha.
But he just walked up and he just completely disarmed me. He walked up and he started like twisting my beard around in his fingers.
Yeah.
It was great.
He's the type of person,
I was nervous.
When you meet him in real life, you're like, oh, now I get why he's so like, if you didn't understand before, when you meet him in real life, you're like, I get why he's such a big deal in the community. We were outside, I think it was the night before Guardian Con, because this was in Tampa before they moved to Orlando.
Yeah.
And we're all hanging out. And I think Lupo had walked by, but he wasn't really there. But Ninja was there with his bodyguard, right? Outside, just chilling on the patio. And everyone's like, oh, I should go up and say something. I was like, dude, this guy is just trying to chill and have a beer. He's got to have bodyguards with him the whole damn time. This was, I think, shortly after he had played with Drake. And he was like, mainstream famous, not just Twitch famous. So, just watching him over there, just kind of chilling and then taking it. It was a nice night. It was sun was going down. Everything was great. But
it was that little gazebo bar that was outside the convention center.
Exactly. Yeah, it was fantastic. And looking over there, I was like, I can't imagine having bodyguards or something like that. Like that just seems crazy.
I'm sure it's nerve-wracking, especially at that like level. Like once you hit like a certain level, I'm sure it's just like, okay, I'm gonna have this for the rest of this event and possibly like every event afterward. So
and for the first time, especially when it just gets to that level, it's got to be like weird, a little, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you know his friends who don't have those bodyguards, like someone like Lupo, are probably roasting him for that behind them. Just a good-natured ribbing, but you know what I'm saying?
I think Lupo had like 4 bodyguards around him at one point, because like trying to cut through the crowd. Okay.
I knew there was people when he was doing like signing things and doing autographs and whatnot. But I didn't see any bodyguards around him in general. And like I said, getting in the morning before, because this was when they first introduced Gambit. So, getting in early and being able to try it out, and that's who it was. It was for Lupo's. It was even like Goth would swing by, and some of the Bungie devs. That was the best part about having that pass. Honestly, signing things for randoms was kind of weird and hilarious. But getting in early and being able to mingle with those people, like I belonged, that was.
How many people did you? How many autographs did you sign?
So I signed one person's notepad. I signed I signed a pass, like his actual pass. That was funny. And then this other dude that I had met while I was there, I signed his pass as well. But like, I don't know if he met me and then just assumed I was a big deal, so now he was friends with a big deal or something. I don't know. I signed a few things throughout.
Get the yearbook signed.
So So I don't necessarily count that one, but it was still funny to me because I didn't see many other people doing that, so it was very very interesting.
I ruined somebody's Scuff controller.
Oh
they had
no!
just purchased.
Oh no!
Because it was the first year I was with Planet Destiny.
Oh yeah.
And they did the signing at the Destiny Community Podcast booth.
I remember that. Yeah.
And so we had like an hour, and people would walk up like not knowing who we were, which is fine.
Yeah.
And like, but like this one kid, he's like, "Yeah, can you guys sign my Scuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And Jackal had just done my logo, but I had never tried writing it down before because I was just going to put the logo on.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Because I'm like, and there it is. There, yep, that's me.
That's perfect.
It has a Scuff that has the shittiest version of my logo.
Oh man, yeah, the signature thing is funny because like you sign, like you said, you sign your logo, you sign your username, you don't sign your real name. Twitch is a weird thing with that, introducing yourself with your username versus your real name. I have people who I game with who will call me by my actual first name. Yours is a little bit easier, obviously, Dan.
Yeah,
but
it's Dale.
For when you interrupt my train of thought with those random clips, it happens so often, and
I'm sorry. I should be a better guest.
No, it's perfect. I love every moment of it, but it happens more often, and I'm not used to it because it's something that I do more often to my friends than they do to me. And so now for the tables to be turned, it always catches me. But yeah, it's actually pretty interesting to kind of have to decide, okay, what do people call you? Because I'll be gaming with somebody, and then one of them will call me Jopa, one of them will call me Josh, one of them will call me what did somebody call me? Someone called me Joey. I was like, I don't know how you got that, but okay. So it's like they just call me all kinds. Everyone kind of calls me something different, but it's funny that way.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah, you can either just, I mean, people call me Danfinity or Dan or like asshole.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hey, asshole.
Oh, if I could call everybody on Twitch, that would be my go-to. Sure.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out though.
I kind of wish that was just like the way that was polite to address people.
Yeah.
Just, hey, asshole, what's up?
Yeah, it's not. I'm not.
Asshole. What about you?
I don't know if you're a huge asshole, but I mean everyone's an asshole.
Right.
I'm with it.
It's less a term of like degradation. It's not a derogatory term. It's a term of love.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, hey, asshole, what's up?
Exactly.
Not much. Yeah.
Some people will not take it that way.
Oh no, yeah, that's why you got to choose. Yeah. That's why you got to choose who you love.
That's been the hardest thing for me to learn on Twitch and everything. And the thing I see people make the mistake with the most is they will get so comfortable so fast, folks.
Over familiarity.
And start and say something out of pocket that they think that, like, I say this to my friends, or I do this all the time, and they're like, well, you've met this person 3 times on Twitter. You are not that close yet. You need to calm down. And you don't know what's gonna send somebody either. It's like some people you meet right away, you're tight, you can say kind of whatever to each other, and then other people you really have to be careful. But folks on the internet do not know that the difference between the two.
Text is so hard to read as context on social media, and like especially when you're in somebody's chat, because they're like, you've got this, you're watching the screen.
Yep.
You're trying to play the game to the best of your ability while also being distracted by having a conversation.
Yeah.
And sometimes
and oftentimes
3 or 4.
I was just gonna say multiple conversations.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
and people will be like, "Oh, I could tell that we're besto friendos now," and it's like,
yeah,
well, I try to be act like I'm friends with everybody who comes by my stream. That's just the personality that I want to be excited to say hello to you. Yeah,
you're a friendly guy, Jopa.
That's about yourself. But like that's what people often mistake for. Hey, I'm being friendly for now. And I don't really have the problem. People can say whatever they want to me. Normally, they can call me any name in the book. It's not gonna send me. But overall, I think with a lot of people, when you go into someone's chat and then they're being friendly to you, or it's like, oh, on Twitter, an exclamation point. We are homies now. I am going to drop.
Yeah.
I literally had this happen. I had somebody who was like, "Oh, we were cool," and he gets in like my voice chat as we were talking. We were about a game for the first time, and he started saying some like
heinous shit.
Yeah, verging on slurs, and I was like, I kicked him from the party, and I DM'd him. I was like, you do realize you came into my chat. I'm literally live right now. What are you doing? What kind of introduction is that? Like, I thought we were friends like that. We were just joking around, and I was like, I don't know what gave you that idea, but it's not that serious.
So when I first started streaming, it wasn't it almost 5 years ago at this point. 5 years will be in September. I believe that's right. I think that's right. But the whole thing of when I started, I didn't know the community all that well, right? I didn't know the faux pas or anything like that. I personally am not one to call people slurs, generally.
Yeah, I know that.
And then when you're kind of, I joined Destiny Tracker shortly afterward, and I was helping people with that, with different activities, and it was help streams, or carries, as some people call it, in Destiny, and you'd get all kinds, dude. Like, some folks just have zero filter whatsoever, and you like. At the time, it's weird. It was weird for me because I was so timid with it. Because I was like, all right, like we need to no more of that, please. Like, I think it takes a while for you to
put your
kind of
down.
work up the moxie, maybe, to be like, okay, hey, no, we don't do that here. To the point now where, like, if somebody's going to join the chat, it's like, all right, if you're sexist, racist, an asshole, homophobic, transphobic, whatever, I reserve the right to kick your ass completely from the party.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, let's get that started right out the gate. And so,
and that's
it seems to have worked so far.
Yeah, you have to be that way. It's so unfortunate because so I play a lot of BRs, games, and you get people come in. They'll be like, 1v1 me. Can I join your party? This, that, and the other. And most of the time, I'm like, no, unfortunately, because 99% of the people are gonna come in and try to either troll or do something obnoxious. And so it's like, and they don't mean to. Like, most of the time, you can tell they don't mean to. That's just how they talk. And you're
it's
like
passive.
Yeah, and you're like, well, that's not how I talk, so that's not gonna fly here.
Right. And that's what's dangerous about, like, all the ists, right? It's like, it's just passive. For that person. And that's like why we as a society and a culture have gotten to this point. And it's just like, you have to shut it down as soon as it happens.
Exactly.
And so,
and sometimes you gotta be the jerk. It's just the way it is.
Oh, I mean, it's not even like being a jerk. It's just like, you have a certain expectation for your stream and your community. And so, like, you're upholding that expectation. People, like, the people on the receiving end might see you as a jerk,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think for the most part, like the people that know you, the people that are actually in your community that care about you, they see that and they're like, all right, yeah, like they're setting a good example from the top.
No, that's exactly it. And when I say be the jerk, it's not necessarily that I felt like I or you would be doing something wrong. It's more so the fact that you can't be afraid to hurt somebody else's feelings who is acting out of pocket just because,
Yeah.
like, oh, this. And that's the one thing like, beginning streamers, the number one thing you have to learn is, like, when someone comes in and they are acting like that, right? If you let that fester, that's going to be what your community. And that's allowable. And so people are just going to take that and go a step farther, go a step farther, go a step farther. So stopping that as early as possible and be like, hey, this is not allowed here. This is not what we do. Again, that particular person coming into your stream, they're going to think you're an asshole, but you have to be that. And it's just, that's the unfortunate reality.
But in that regard, I think it's fine for that person to think that you're an asshole.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, and I think that's what people are afraid of, right? They're afraid that other people are not going to like them, but
everybody wants to be friends with everybody all the time.
There's no shot everybody's going to like you. It's just the way the world works. You have too many backgrounds.
You have to reckon with that. You have to reckon that you're not going to be everybody's flavor exactly when that comes around. You're not everybody's flavor. Just hands down. Just go in knowing that. Go in being yourself. And the people that are there for you will like you.
Exactly. And sometimes even embracing that is helpful. Like lead into it even a little bit and be like, this is the way it is. You don't like it. I just don't care. I just get out. Like, I'm good.
There's some bricks over there. You can hit them.
Yeah. See you later. We've I like the Twitch talk. I don't have a lot of people who are open about talking about Twitch. I think there's a lot of taboo subjects. There's a lot of things that people are hesitant to actually have conversations about for some reason, especially folks who maybe their viewership isn't as high as they want, so they feel like they don't have the right to talk about this stuff. But I think that should never be the case. I think more communication, if anything, should be promoted within the community about whether it's how make money on Twitch, how you treat your community, how you moderate, how you act. Because a lot of it's like generic, like, oh, let's don't follow for follow, don't promote in other people's streams, and I'm like, everybody knows that who has been doing this for any length of time. But I will say people
know that.
The people that should be having the conversations know that, right? But the people there are a lot of people. Man, the amount of you know what self-promoting is also rampant is YouTube. I get the best the best comments of, we have similar content. This was a good video.
Why don't you check it out here?
Sub to my channel. And it's like every time, but it seems like it's trying to be a compliment, but mostly a self-promotion. I'm like, okay. Right. I don't even get mad on YouTube. It is what it is. I'm like, thanks for the view, and just leave it at that. But it's it's so crazy.
I don't get self-promotion all that much anymore.
Yeah.
There was one kid who posted like a YouTube. My channel is fairly open.
Same.
Like most people know not to post their links unless like I talked to them about it. Yeah. I just don't like if I have to like set a bot to say no posting links, like that just kind of feels like we all know this. Yeah. This is like the unwritten rule.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it open so that people can't post links. Now I'm going to have a whole bevy of them.
But that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. But like, I leave it open so that people don't feel as restricted in that. And most people know to ask at the long term. But I did have somebody the other day who like posted his link and goes, "Oh, cool. All right. And we're going to just stop that right now." Yeah. We're going to time you out. You do it again, you're gone. I haven't seen him since, so he was gone before that. But
yeah, that's the unfortunate part is you give somebody a little bit of leeway, they just run with it. And my friends, listen, I will post your links for you if I want to, right? I have no I have no fear of somebody going to check out somebody else's content. If you want to go watch my friends, I want them to succeed as much, if not more, as I want myself. And one example of this, so this happened last night. I went to see Last Lady Legend in her stream, and she's like, "Hey, here's a shout out. I know you're doing charity stuff right now. Give me the details." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, I want full details. I want you to tell everybody everything. Let's get into it." And I was like, first of all, it was like kind of shocking because I was just saying hello. Like when I go see people in their channels, I would ever expect a shout out. Especially I didn't host her or rate her or anything like that. And even if I had like a shout out is just like a nice thing to do, never an expectation.
Right.
Although I think some people don't realize that either, but but that was kind of a standard that I want to set myself to as well. Seeing how thoughtful that was and how nice it was for her to go above and beyond and have me really go in. That's something I need to, I'm going to keep in the back of my head and do a bit more.
Incorporate in.
Yeah, because I know it made my day. I was mind blown that she wanted me, like she kept asking questions about it, kept talking about it because I just became a St. Jude ambassador for the season.
Oh yeah.
Which was, I got this care package. I was over the moon. I was so stoked, right? And so because of that, she must have seen it on Twitter, and I just kind of went in on it. And I was like, yeah, that's the kind of hype that I want to keep going. I want to pay that forward as much as possible. Exactly. And I think that was something that kind of was like a light bulb in my mind because it was awesome. Honestly, it made my day.
Yeah, because it's like in this field, it's not one of those things where it's like, who can get one over on you, right?
Yeah,
like it's more about building community, building actual relationships, and like what you just said about Last Lady Legend, that shows that she's very astute as a person to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then to like incorporate that into why people should care about you.
Exactly. And that's what I try to do a little bit, but I think now that I've kind of seen her example, I know I can do more.
Yeah.
So that's it was awesome. It was awesome. And I know there are certain people that when you go to visit them, and this goes back to what I was saying before, they make you feel like you're close friends, even if you only talk once in a while. And I think that's very telling. I think one of the things that I've always enjoyed about, especially lurking in your streams, when I'm editing videos and doing stuff like that, is that it does feel very inviting. I'm not as your giggle brings me so much joy that I could listen to it forever. So having it on the background is just probably one of the best things ever. But yeah,
I should make like an 8-hour loop. I should make like an 8-hour loop of the giggle and then just post that up on YouTube.
Yeah, I do huge use. Be mind-blowing numbers.
Yeah.
You'd probably make YouTube partner just off of that. Imagine can you imagine if that happened? Like what you would be able to tell people? That would be the best.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that over the next month. I'm gonna collect all my giggles. I'm gonna put them in a box, and I'm gonna put them up on YouTube and see what happens with it.
Yeah, hey,
because somebody's got to be like into that.
It's gonna be like giggle ASMR. It's gonna be so great.
Perfect.
If I help you get that, this is why collaboration between creators needs to happen.
No, you'll be in the description. As posited.
Oh, it's so great. That would make my day, honestly. I will post that YouTube video everywhere in my Discord and my on my Twitter. And be like, if you don't watch this, we cannot be friends anymore.
Perfect. All right.
That's so fantastic. Now, leading into a little bit of the Destiny stuff, we met through Destiny. I know you still do a lot of helps and everything.
Yeah. I mean, Sundays are pretty much the only day where I do helps now.
Okay,
but like, good. Yeah, it's Tuesdays. We added this like scoreboard system. I'm fascinated with like the idea of gamifying chat, so they're participating in your fun.
Yes.
Instead of like, and I know that there's like bank heists.
Yeah.
And roulette. Yeah. And all that stuff to like get your chat involved. And that's all good and fine. I'm not like tearing anybody down who uses those. But I'm right now I'm fascinated with like getting the chat more involved with what's going on the screen. And one of the ways that we're doing that on Tuesdays is like Reset Boys.
Yeah.
I've turned it into Impractical Jokers. Like
I love that show.
If we do something wrong, if we do something right, chat can give an accolade or a demerit. And then whoever has the most demerits at the end of the month has to do like something kind of nascent that the person who's in the lead tells them to do. The person in the middle basically gets their money back.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Gets to watch the carnage after.
So goofy. Yeah, it's just been so goofy, like seeing people interact with that.
Yeah.
And like the reasons why they'll give a demerit or an accolade. And we also have like monthly refs. We should have you as a monthly ref for one of these.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, I'm fascinated with that. We do helps on Sundays. And then Thursday is mostly like free play. It's just like, it depends on like what's going on in the community at that time. We'll like read through the TWAB, or like this week I'm by the time this airs, this will have already passed, but like I'm going to be hanging out with like Lock and Load Live, helping people with GMs.
Oh, and nice.
So on PC. So like that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that. It's my first time playing with Liv. So
she's great. I've interacted with her quite a bit, and it's so interesting how many people there are in the community, especially people sizable community like her, who like you just don't often cross over with. And there's people that I've seen more recently that I'm like, I had never known about this person. They're a relatively decent sized name in the community. So I love the more folks that would play with each other and get to know each other, I think the better the community would be as a whole. It used to be a lot smaller and more tight knit in the day, or there were more tight knit pockets, I would say, right? Where now, especially as it went free to play and everything, everyone's kind of all over the place. And I know the game's been out so long that like people come and go. There's some people that'll stick around regardless, but there's also the people, and this is an analogy I thought of today actually. It's like this Destiny for a lot of people used to be their favorite restaurant, but they changed the menu a little bit and they don't really like the food as much, but they still go every other Sunday because that's been their tradition, even though they don't really care for the food anymore. So they keep eating there, but they complain about eating there all the time, but they keep eating there regardless of the food. The food isn't bad. It's just the tastes have changed, and their tastes have changed as they got older. And so they're the folks that in the community that I'm like, I wish you would. For me, when I was able to move away and try other foods, that's when I was like, oh, I actually love Destiny's food. It's so great.
Yeah.
In comparison, as you start to get
that restaurant,
as you start to get to see other things, you get a new appreciation for what you left behind as well. So, that's awesome. I'm glad you're playing with her. She's fantastic, and finding different things to do is necessary because Destiny itself isn't going to provide infinite content, right? It provides enough,
right?
Depending on how much you play. But like you said with Reset Boys, if you make a game of it, now you're having fun, and the game is almost the background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're doing stuff in the game,
it is
but it's you three hanging out is the primary source of content of enjoyment of this, that, and that.
Yeah. And like you know, and there's like certain memes within it, right?
Yeah.
You know, somebody's like, Jaden's gonna play a sound clip that's
Yes.
gonna make one of us go,
Yeah.
or like I'm gonna derp off of the map or something along those lines. There's just some staples to each one. And like going back to like you wishing more people would play together. Dude, I was always not shy, but like understanding that everybody has their thing to do.
Yep.
Right? Like everybody is constantly working on their channel. If they're anything like me, they're constantly working on it. Like I know you are.
Yeah.
Like it becomes like a workaholic type thing after a while. But like, and you're not necessarily going to be on the forefront of everybody's mind when they start thinking of like people to collaborate with or anything like that, because there's so many people in that pool, and some connections are stronger than others, right? So I've always, you know, really collaborated with people within my community to get things done. But like I'm finding more and more that there are people that are really, really rad. Like currently on the other screen, I'm sorry if I look a little distracted. Sutledge, somebody that I've become more friendly with over like the past couple seasons. He is currently helping people with like try to get palindrome in the last waning hours. He's done like a 24-hour adept palindrome help.
That's crazy.
And so like, at the bottom it says he's done 249 GM carries this season. Like, dude's nuts.
Yeah, that's insane. That's
and
insane.
So and there's so many people like Sutledge. There's so many people that are just really awesome in the community.
Yep.
And to try to get to know. And there's part of me that in the past was like, well, I don't want them to think that I'm trying to use their shine to like get to, you know, buff out my medals. So what I'm going to do is like, I just won't even reach out. Like it's not even worth the potential friendship if like people are going to think that of you. But like having been at this long enough, it's just like, you know what, fuck it. Like I'm going to be friends with who I'm friends with. I'm going to work with people that I see and respect in the community. And then anybody who says anything otherwise can, you know, go kick rocks.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think that's what it is. Because now, and you know this, you had SideQuest Sunday, now you have Beardo. Like hosting a podcast is another thing where collaboration is necessary, but so difficult.
Yeah.
Because again, you're like, oh, my podcast doesn't reach enough people for this person to actually be interested in. Same thing with the gaming with folks. Like they have a crew that they run with all the time. It's like you don't want to be like, hey, I'll be a fill-in for you if you need me. But you want to.
Right.
I'm with you on that. At the end of the day, you have to be understanding that everyone's got their own thing. So if you get shot down, or if someone doesn't have the time or can't fit you in or whatever, it's no hard feelings. There's no like animosity there. Exactly. And that's what people get. So I see it all the time where folks are like, oh, it's the community's like high school, it's the clique. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Some people have fostered these friendships for a while now, and they're just gonna be closer with those people. And just because you're not always invited to things doesn't mean you're left out. It means you have to go foster your own friendships to be included, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean you have to foster friendships with the top of the directory. That's what too many people try to do. Find the folks that you are going to vibe with and run with.
Yeah. And like that's when I think it was like last year or something. It was like somebody came to me and asked like how how they can become a leader in like in my community or something, right? Or like how can they become like somebody that's like looked at as like a leader? I was like, then lead.
Yeah.
Like you take part in the communities that you want to be a part of.
Yes.
Whether that's like consciously or subconsciously, right? There's some communities that I am quote unquote a part of that I don't like necessarily like check in with all that much.
Yeah.
And like it's not because like they're not important or anything. It's just like you only have so much time to like really be and so much attention span to really be in any one place. So
exactly. And
that's how many Discord servers are you in?
Far too many. I don't know. Probably like
I hit the cap.
I started leaving a bunch of them, to be honest. Because it's just not possible. I'm very bad at Discord as well, so that makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
It's like I'm more of a Twitter guy. So like I can follow along on Twitter. I like the interaction on Twitter. When I go to Discord, I'll forget to check it for like a couple days. And people like I have a buddy, Hop Fanatic, and he goes, I DM you on Twitter. I was like, I've told you numerous times that if you do that, there's a chance I won't respond for quite some time. So it's just not the way.
Right.
And so he DM'd me on Twitter and I responded right away. He's like, oh, that makes I was like, for whatever reason, maybe it's my old man brain or whatever, but like Discord doesn't do it for me that much. And I like the convenience of having like articles stuff posted for consistent news, and I like being able to have a thread of folks where we're talking about that recent news. But outside of that, there are some Discords where the conversation's flying. I lost track of it. I don't know what's going on. I'm out. So that's the hard part.
Well, from like a creation side of it too, is like everything has like an algorithm.
Yep.
And this is something that a friend of mine, Joe Chuck, like really kind of drilled into my brain. He was like, everything has an algorithm. Everything has a discoverability platform.
Yeah.
Like, you know what doesn't? Discord. Discord is your people.
Yeah.
They are there of their own volition. There's no filter between you and your voice and theirs. There's nothing saying, hey, you should check this out from this creator. It's all your voice and your value and whatever you like put into it. So that's how I see Discord. Discord is like something that I have really put a lot of work into, and I need to put in way more, but like it is the place where the people that want to be a part of like the community are in there.
No, it makes sense.
So, like,
and it's definitely something I wish I was better at. Just for me, it's never. I don't know. I've never really latched on to Discord, and so I think that's always made it hard. But it is a useful tool, especially like you said, because there's so many other platforms that are reliant on everything but what you do for success in reaching eyeballs. Like, you put out good content is obviously the number one key. But like YouTube is all about the title and the thumbnail. You could put out a crappy video and still do decent numbers because of the thumbnail and the title. Yeah. TikTok, does it get the right hashtags? Do you get the right trending song at the right time? And it's crazy to me because I never really thought about that way, but that does make a lot of sense. Discord.
The thing with TikTok, I've had the most success when I didn't tag anything.
It's hit or miss,
like, my most watched TikTok is like one that I was just like, I'm just gonna throw this up there. It was a part of like a trend thing where it's like a certain filter, but I didn't do anything with it outside of.
So TikTok's weird. I think it changes the way the algorithm works, because I've done that. So I stopped using hashtags to test it out, and a couple of videos hit well, and then they started to drop again. and then I threw in a hashtag, and then it shot back up, and it's like I don't. I had an Instagram reel that I posted 2.5 weeks ago, and just yesterday shot up to past 4K views. A bunch of likes and follows hit me out of nowhere, and I was like, "How? What just happened? Like, where did this come from? How did this hit a certain algorithm or trending page or whatever the case may be?" I don't understand.
Yeah.
The platforms are strange, and I don't know if they're constantly tinkering to keep people on their toes so they can't like manipulate,
figure out the
manipulate
the game of it.
It's very interesting. Let's talk about before we went live a little bit the leaks spoilers for upcoming Destiny. First of all, I'm always take these with a grain of salt, and I always laugh about them because like 99% of it will have a hint of truth, but be mostly like not factually accurate. So, but I do like speculating because looking forward, I think we're at a great point in the storytelling of Destiny. This season's storytelling, early on especially, was tremendous. Some of the cutscenes, some of the interactions with Zavala and Keitel and all that kind of stuff. The Presage mission was awesome. So looking forward and having the be better told stories. Now I'm like, okay, what's next? And we know Vault of Glass is coming, but like, what
we know Ikora is going to be taking more of a
that's
more
huge.
of a role as well.
She's been kind of MIA for a minute, but outside of that, we don't know anything, and it's only 2 weeks away. So that's
I think
Destiny's always crazy like that.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on not knowing what's coming next week?
I like it. It has me excited because, again, as somebody who plays multiple games, I have new season drops like every week for the next 4 weeks, something like that. So the not knowing is crazy, and now I know when we do get the reveal, it's going to be awesome because we'll probably get some in-game content that'll lead to the reveal. So I'm looking forward to that. But I have no idea what to expect. I saw there's folks are getting confused. I've seen this already because the Season of the Plague stuff, which is unofficial by an outside source, that everyone's like, "Oh, is this?" So I saw a rumor someone posted that they were like, Season of the Plague was a hint given by the developers to these people making this fan content in order to get people hyped for this, and then Season of the Splicer or something like that leaked in order to lead into that. And I was like, you guys are out of your mind. The tinfoil hats in the room right now are out of control. But
because I can't imagine a dev would do that. Just because like community expectation for everything is way overblown. I think we'll be lucky if the story next season matches the story this season. In its ability, like in its like, because they really hit a lot of perfect notes.
100%.
Like throughout the entire thing. Now there were some stumbles here and there, yes, but that was mainly like with mechanics loops, right? Or like loot drop loops, things of that nature. But when it comes to the storytelling has been very strong. The fact that Gina Torres is coming back as Ikora next season speaks to maybe there is more meat on that bone than one. And plus, she's been super busy with her own show. I think she's doing one for Fox right now. And like, the idea that a developer would hint that in order to lead into like something that they're doing, it's the community expectation and imagination. I mean, it's numerous. At that point, you have so many devs, right, in a community. Like Bungie can only has so much salary. To go into like a DLC, right?
Exactly.
But a community has all these people working for free. and so they can make whatever they want. And the stuff from the Season of the Plague has been very high quality. Sorry, my door opened just a crack. which was super weird.
Absolutely.
So, we have something going on here. But but yeah, the community expectation is way higher than what any studio can ever deliver on, I think.
Yeah. And that's one of those things where folks are like, oh, did they even test this game after like a new update, and there people find glitches, and you're like, you've got literal millions of people playing this compared to however many handful of testers. Get out of here. That's not how that works at all. But that's just, the community will always be able to do more with that just because of the resources.
Yeah.
There's so many more people and so much. They're not limited by some of the things that are in the game that the non-devs don't know about. So
yeah. So it's like, I don't know. That is the cutest conspiracy theory I've heard in 4 years. So.
I loved it. I saw that. I was like, there's no shot anyone thinks this is real. But apparently some do. And or like they're feeding information to Paul Tassi so that way they can get feelers for what the community wants to see. And I'm like, you guys don't understand how this works or how bad that would be. Like, the cost benefit ratio is just not there.
Or they're leaking stuff to Paul Tassi. Have they read one of his articles?
Yeah.
He doesn't. He knows just as much about what's going on as we do.
Yeah, maybe even less sometimes. But
well, I mean, no, I'm not going to say that. I think he's very professional in how he does things, like through Forbes. I just think like sometimes you have to say something, right?
Yeah.
In this, I mean, this past week we had Transmog, and I said a lot of something.
Yes.
And that got people riled up.
Yes.
And that's fine. But like I was coming from a place of like, I want to talk about this thing because it's just come out, but I didn't fully understand all of the things that were going on around it.
Yeah.
And so like then like a couple days later when somebody like kind of checks you on it, is like, oh, hey, no, this is why I'm upset about this thing. And then you see that other side of the argument.
Sure.
That like, that's more informative of how, and like also brings in empathy.
Yeah.
Like, I think, I don't know. I think sometimes you have to say something just because it's social media.
Yeah.
And then in other realms, it's just like, oh, well, maybe I should not say anything.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I say a lot of things that people don't tend to like oftentimes, but also at the end of the day, I think people think I'm more upset about things when really I'm just voicing like, this is a fact, or not a fact. This is a opinion or a statement from me, but it doesn't mean I'm not losing sleep over it. It's like, I don't think that this transmog system is that bad, and literally the best way for Bungie to make money is through emotes and cosmetic
stuff.
I understand that. Now, is this the best system? No. Do I understand why people would be upset about it? Yes. Do I think it's as big a deal as people have made it? No. But that's just my opinion. And Bungie's going to either listen to feedback and change it or not, and people will get over it. But, like, at the end of the day, it's the same thing with the Guardian game stuff where, like, factions form and everyone's like, you must choose a camp. And if you're in that camp, then you're my friend. And if you're not, I hate you forever. And I don't understand that aspect of the community.
For the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then they're over it and stuff like that. And I'm like, I guess I don't get that. But everyone, when people read my tweets, oftentimes I think they're like, they're like, just block that person. I'm like, I block and mute a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like, this is not that serious. It's not that big of a deal. And some people, fashion is super, super important in games. And I get that. But that's, you can't monetize, make games pay to win. So it's like there's limited ways to monetize.
There was the argument that kind of struck me, and that was like, oh, maybe I should sit back a little bit more. Because like, when I use my voice, I'm usually very loud about it.
Yeah.
And I will nail onto on like harp on a subject over and over and over again.
Sure.
And then, but like that doesn't necessarily breed trust, right? Just because you yell about something over and over doesn't mean it's true, or doesn't like or that it should diminish someone else's opinion on the
exactly
thing.
Yeah.
And so like there was, I believe his name was Crusader, he like brought to bear that was like, look, I'm being treated like a free-to-play player when I've spent $70 at least this year. Like, I'm spending $70 every year on this experience, right? Sure. And so, and you like, you have the season pass stuff, you have all sorts, like, they could do something for people who are paying money.
Yeah, I can see
year over year to like make it a little bit more fair. And so it's like, okay, that argument I 100% get.
I can see that. I will say this: most of what you get from the season pass and stuff is ornament, right? So that's gonna have no bearing on transmog already. So you're already getting additional armor sets than the free to play people. Plus, you're getting additional content. If you look at, I just liken it to like Final Fantasy 14, where yes, you have a long free to play road, but then you have to pay $15 every single month, or World of Warcraft, where you have to pay 15. You know, so these ongoing games I think are expensive, and everyone. I look back at Outriders, and most of my friends who played Outriders are now done playing Outriders. Paid.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of built for that, though.
Exactly, and that's fine. But then those same people are back to Destiny, complaining about the seasonal loops of Destiny and the ongoing nature of Destiny. But they're still playing Destiny, and that's the whole point of what Bungie is doing. So at the end of the day, while I would love to see, and like I said, I've said this to other people, I don't think the transmog system is anywhere near perfect. I think giving something to paid players is important. But you cannot argue that those people who are spending that money are not getting their money's worth from Destiny. And that's for the most part, that's what I would look at and be like, I just think the amount of hours people put into Destiny, you're getting your money's worth even if you spend the $70.
So when I was, we were talking about this on Planet Destiny on Sunday, and like I think so if I were Bungie right now, which I'm not even paid by them, despite some emails that I've received. So I think that like you can make it more beneficial for the paid player by adding some of that like class agnostic universal ornament like material.
Yeah.
If you add that into the season pass, like say like you get 10 pieces, right? Every 10 you get like a piece. Right?
Yeah, I'm in on that.
Yeah. So like that gives something to the paid player. And then I would probably be like, you know what? After this season, be like, you know what? This season was such a success with the transmog system that we're just, instead of 10 per season, it's going to be 20 flat out per class every season now. That way they're giving a little bit back to the community. It's not a perfect system. There's no way they're going to get rid of the limits because they need to make money, or like they're looking to make money some way. And free to play, Destiny has a lot of whales. There are a lot of people who will purchase everything in the Eververse.
Understand.
And so like it's one of those things where if as a paid player, as somebody who purchases things, season passes, etc. I picked up some bright dust or some silver the other day so I could get something, not one of the full armor sets, but like an emote or something like that. And it was like, okay, like it would be nice if this system had like if it had something else. Right? It would be nice if when transmog comes around, there is a little bit of a leeway for the paid players that maybe they get a little extra. So,
yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. I think there's a balance there. I just ultimately, if I look at Destiny, and even as a player who doesn't play it exclusively, if I were to say, hey, am I getting my money's worth from this game? Yes. Am I ever stressed about spending my money on this game? No. I enjoy the time.
Right.
I enjoy the time I play with it. And I look at every other game I play, and I look at skins for other games that are $20 a piece, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say Destiny players are spoiled. I don't think it's that. I just think Destiny's a weird game in this kind of cross between free to play and paid players, and it's a tough balance. And they're trying to do. It's not like Bungie's not trying to do the best for everybody. They gotta make money. I think the announcement of the new game that they have in the works has people like, oh, they're using my money from Destiny to fund this other game, when that's not how studios work either. So I think overall, I'm not too pressed about it either way. That's why I can't, after 6 years of this, nothing in Destiny can get me that bent unless they went completely pay to win, and that'll never happen. So I'm not.
Right. I got you.
That's just my opinion.
As somebody who talks about it every week, it's
yeah. Like, and it's good to have an open mind, because there's certain things, like you said, that you're like, oh, I see this, and it does make a lot of sense.
Opinions can change.
Exactly.
And I think it's
healthy.
Yeah. I think it's, especially if after conversation, like after good conversation, you can have a conversation with somebody and be like, I see your side of it. And I think a lot of social media doesn't do that, or like partakers in social media don't do that.
Yeah.
And so, have you seen The Circle yet?
No.
The Netflix show? I got turned on to it by a member from my community, the Ninja Rockstar, and it's bonkers. It's 6 people get put into individual apartments, and their only interaction with each other is through an app called The Circle. And it's a social media game, like, but it is very astute in how it like talks about its interaction, right? Yeah. Where it's just like people are generally by themselves firing off these missives.
Yeah.
That and some people are catfish and all sorts of other stuff, but like they're trying to like build these genuine, they're trying to win $100,000. And so through this, they're also either building genuine relationships or playing some sort of strategy. And a lot of people pleasing goes on.
Of course.
Right. Yeah. And so watching that show and then watching like actual social media and like how people interact, you see a bit of the people pleasing, like even when it comes to the outrage.
Yeah.
It's like, if I share the same opinion as this other person will like me more, and therefore I am going to like throw that out.
Yeah. It's easy.
That's my signal to them.
People get caught up in easy engagements as well, where they're like, oh, everyone's been posting this opinion, so if I do this popular opinion as well, that like is an easy dunk, right? It's never an opinion that's going to be controversial, which might get you some backlash. It's always like, hey, don't what was the one recently I saw? I don't know. But it's always an easy one that you can just kind of throw up there and be like, I'm going to get people to like this. I'm going to get that little excitement, the heart beats faster a little bit because people are liking my stuff and interacting, and they don't normally. And it leads to lack of conversation and lack of meaningful back and forth.
Here's a cheap one. Anybody who posts up like, hey, I'm looking for people to go follow. I'm looking for more people to watch.
Post your links.
Can you post your links. And so you do. and you never hear from them again.
Of course. I used
They'll
to fall.
do that again next month.
I used to fall for that trap, and it was like after I saw it a couple times, like wait a damn minute. So
this doesn't benefit anybody except for the person who posts it.
Yeah, and they get follows, they get other people, and they'll drop their own link,
and they get goodwill. They get goodwill because they're seen as somebody in the community who like
is trying to help other people.
Looking to promote.
Yeah, but that's not the crazy man. A world is a crazy place.
It's cheap.
Hey, well, it's been over an hour now. We it was always a fun time. Time flies by. Now, I'm going to be a guest on your podcast. Tell everybody a little bit before we go about Beardo, about where they can find you, and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. On the Beardo front, you can find it anywhere where you get podcasts. If you're listening to, chances are, if you're listening to this podcast on anything but YouTube, you'll find Beardo on that same thing. It's BEIRDO. It's basically, it's just a fun show. That's all I'm going to leave it as. It's got a structure to it. I have fun guests on. JoPa's going to be the guest this week, and we're kind of cross promoting here. We're cross pollinating,
crossing the stream.
Yes. So like we have so that's the show. Where you can find me. I wish that door would stop moving. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. You can also find me on Twitch 3 days a week, twitch.tv/Danfinity. You can also find my other podcasts, Marvel Topics, in which I talk to D Flawless about different things in the Marvel Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Planet Destiny on your podcast platforms of choices as well. And is that all the podcasts that I do? I think that's all the podcasts I do.
Only a few though.
Yeah, only a few.
Well, thank you so much for being on, man. You're one of the best. I love having you on. Talking to you, I can do it all day, and unfortunately, we're capped for time.
Same.
But
unfortunately, if I didn't have this I might call into work.
Yeah,
be like, hey, I can't make it today.
Exactly. I appreciate you being on, and for those listening at home, thank you so much for tuning in, stopping by, and hanging out. This is JoPaWrites. This has been the Writer's Thoughts, and I will catch you all later.